All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back with another episode of the Authority Project. And I'm here with my new good friend here, Victoria Dioh. And she says she is here to help us connect with our higher selves so we can succeed, I guess, at life and business. Is that right, Victoria?
And that's right. It's the best place to be when you connect to your higher self, for sure.
Awesome. Well, we shall see. We shall see what
We
you can
shall
help us
see.
with
Yep.
on this current
Yep.
episode of the Authority Project.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, feast your eyes and tune your ears. It's that time again. We are live with another episode of The Authority Project. It's the video podcast streamed on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Periscope, where we talk to digital marketers, business coaches, and creators of all kinds on how they've built authority in their field and how you can mimic their success. Developing authority, building your audience, and attracting better clients to your own business. Now, without further ado, let's bring to the virtual stage your host, Brian S. Arnold.
All right, we are back with another one, folks. It's the Authority Project. You are the project, and we want to slap authority to your name so you can sell more of what you're great at. And we are here at Victoria Dioh, and I'm excited to get into manifestation and helping us get to our higher selves and succeed at life and business. How are you doing, Victoria?
I'm fantastic, thank you. Greetings from a very dark UK.
Ah, yes,
Yes,
exactly. In the evening, yes, right.
that's right. So it's around 9 o'clock here at the moment.
Yes,
So yeah.
yes. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to get started here. Why don't you tell us, first of all, who you are personally and then professionally?
Oh goodness. So my name is Victoria Dioh. You can tell by the accent that I'm from the UK. And I am an African oracle. I'm also a shaman and an alchemist healer. So I pretty much help people to reconnect to their higher selves so that they can, connect to their healing powers as well as their creative powers so that they can manifest whatever they want in life.
I love it. And so that is great. So
Thank you.
what is your current project that you're working on right now?
Oh, goodness. So right now, I don't know if anybody's heard of Clubhouse, right? But
Yes.
I'm on there
Yes.
every day consulting with people, like hundreds of people a day, and just helping them with their lives, with different problems. One of the things that we may not realize is that when we're born with an innocence where time doesn't matter, no space, so everything just is. So when you look at a baby and you say they don't have a care in the world, they literally don't have a care in the world. But from the moment they come out of their mother's womb, you either go into a nurse's hand or whoever else is there to bring the child into the world, and the child starts to absorb the limiting beliefs and amazing beliefs of the individual. And then this child meets the family and friends, and you get conditioned.
Yeah.
That child get conditioned. And then 30, 40, 50 years later, we sit on a podcast and we're trying to undo all of that so that we can go back
Yes.
to being a child again, so that we
Mm,
can bring whatever we want into our lives. So that's what I'm doing. I'm literally working with people to just reconnect with their higher selves, with their innocence, with whatever you want to call it, their intuition, so that they can bring more into their life, especially right now when things are so unpredictable. And some people have just given up and they don't believe that they can actually attract beautiful abundance or wealth or happiness into their life. And it's actually so much easier than what we give it credit for. We just need to let go.
I love it. I love it. And I'm gonna grab. I'm gonna get dive. I'm gonna get diving. I'm gonna dive into all of that. But I got one
Go
last.
on.
I have one last customary question before we go. What does
Go.
your daily routine look like?
Oh, so I am a stickler for structure in the morning.
Mm, okay.
So when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I say thank you. I say thank you to God, because I realized that there's so much that I don't give credit for or acknowledge. So I say thank you. And then I starts with like brushing my teeth and getting ready. And whilst I'm there, I pray or I listen to, there's a new really cool priest on Instagram who I listen to at the moment. And he goes through different chapters. It's called Father James, Father_James, I think it's called. But he's so amazing. And I'm not Catholic, I'm Presbyterian, but his sermons are just wonderful. So I listen to him. And that sort of like really allows me then to go into my gratitude. My gratitude is me giving thanks, but being more specific about what I want. I'm really specific. I give gratitude for what I've got, for what I would love. And I give gratitude for what I want to bring in, you know? So for example, when we say we want to give gratitude for stuff, a lot of people think, well, I'm going to just give gratitude for what I've got. But if you behave as if you haven't got something, it's not going to come. So I give gratitude for what I want, what I wanted, what I desire into my life. And then I get to my computer and, you know, I do a prayer before I click on my computer. And then I start with clients.
Awesome.
And yeah, it's clients. And then sometimes I've got a rebounder over there. So sometimes I go and jump on there. If anybody watches my Instagram story today, there's me jumping up and down on a, on a rebounder, listening to some music. Sometimes go for a walk, speak to friends. I break it down just to make sure that I have that balance where I'm nurturing my soul, I'm serving my clients, but I'm most importantly putting me first.
Awesome. I have no idea what a rebounder is. What is that you're talking about?
Oh, I do apologize. So a rebounder is like a mini trampoline.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a mini trampoline, but they're so cool because you can have them indoors, you can have them in your home, and it helps you with your lymphatic drainage and stuff. So it's amazing. So you can use it as much as you want, and it's fab because you can actually have it based on your weight.
Okay. Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so they tie it up in so it can reflect your weight and everything else. But it's fabulous. One of my best purchases to date.
Oh wow. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna look into that. All right. So let's dive in now. So tell us a little bit first of all about your journey into where you are today. What brought you to this point where, you know what, this is who I am. This is who I want to serve. Was there an aha moment? Was there something that your upbringing got you to this point? Where did this come from?
Yes, I got here kicking and screaming.
I love that.
I got here kicking and screaming. I have a friend of mine. She's an American author. I don't know if you guys know her. She's called Alison Armstrong, and she calls me the reluctant oracle because my default is no. I'm not going to do that. So I used to be in the corporate world, and I used to head projects, programs, portfolio, very senior. I knew from the moment I graduated from university that I wanted a very senior job very quickly. I wasn't so focused on the money, but I knew that I wanted a very comfortable life. And I didn't want to work weekends. And that was the deal. I didn't want to work weekends, and it just fell on my lap. So very quickly, I literally was on six figures. I think within about a year of being in the corporate world, I went to six figures very quickly. And then I think within about 2-3 years, I got my own team, and I was very driven, very ambitious, very driven. I loved money. I loved earning it. I loved what it brought me. I loved helping others, and I was having a blast. And yet gradually I started to realize that I was just existing. And I couldn't explain. I didn't know what that meant. So I just assumed that meant I was depressed because depression was becoming okay to talk about. They started to start talking about depression and mental health. So I thought, oh, maybe I'm depressed. And I just couldn't get over this fact that I had everything I wanted, or so I thought, so everything I needed. And yet there was just this niggling feeling. So I spoke to my Pilates teacher, who was the only person I felt I could confide in. And one of the reasons why I went to speak to her was because as a woman and as a Black woman in the corporate world, I was like, girl, if if anybody knows that you think you're suffering from depression, you're screwed. It's like they're just going to move you across. And I didn't want to do that. I really wanted to protect. I was scared. I wanted to protect my legacy that I'd created. So I spoke to my Pilates teacher, who introduced me to somebody. And it just so happened that this person was I would say, an intuitive coach. And they identified that I had a gift. And it was a gift where I could see through people, I could heal people and everything else. And it scared the hell out of me, because as a Christian, I was like, well, what does this mean? And how does this fit in with everything? And, I spoke to my mom, and my mom's a devout Christian anyway. And my mom was just like, look, everybody has this thing called intuition. We don't necessarily use it. So I forgot about it.
Yeah.
And I was happy because I wasn't depressed. But then I went back to work. And the aha moment came when one day, so I was a contractor in the corporate world. So you get a call and you go where the contract is. And all of a sudden, those phone calls stopped.
Oh, wow.
The phone calls stopped. And I had no idea what was going on. At first, I thought maybe I'd screwed up at a job, or I couldn't figure out what was going on. And for 4 years, I didn't work. So I went from 6 figures to 0.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And nobody called me.
That's strange.
Nobody called me. And I was just like, what the hell's going on? And if somebody called me with a job, the job would disappear. They would eventually come back and go, oh yeah, the job's been removed. They don't need that job anymore. And that happened for 4 years.
Wow.
And as I was in that space, what I now know is that God was telling me to just calm down, stop traveling, stop, going to all these places that you enjoy but are distracting, and just listen to your soul, listen to your higher self. And what started to happen was when I eventually just sat down and said, okay, I'm just going to do the best I can in this situation. Then I started to attract people in my life who kept on coming to me and saying, until you connect to your purpose, nothing's going to change. And I didn't know what that purpose was.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that purpose was, because all I knew was being in the corporate world, making hundreds of thousands of pounds. And now you're telling me I have another purpose, and it's not that, because I enjoy that. I enjoy bossing people around and earning loads of money. I enjoy that. And luckily, the more I surrendered, the more I listened, the more people came to actually help me and guide me with my gift. And the gift of, being able to help people who had problems, be able to use my hands to heal people, to be able to really work with someone and help to almost unmess their message, unmess their message, so that you can just give them that message without the mess and go, here you go. And that's pretty much what I do. And I do that with healing with food, words, and touch.
Okay.
But it took a long time for me to lean into that. And over the years, the more I lean into it, the more I get gifted with more tools for my toolbox. And last year, when I found out that there was another person who had something similar to what I had, as in could read people, could help people, I went to Africa and I got anointed as an oracle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let's get into, then, for people who are listening and watching right now, how do we get to the point where we are manifesting this person within, this higher self? What is the connection? What is the the blueprint of getting to this point where we're taking our higher self and we're shining to the masses to make an impact on the world? How do we get there?
Well, to be honest with you, it's, when you have a moment to yourself, there's times when you just want to have a moment.
Yeah.
And you want to escape the noise. And sometimes you go for a walk, or sometimes you go and sit by a beach. And as you sit there and you just calm yourself down, you start to realize that the thoughts start to quieten. And then a problem that you had that's been nagging you for ages, when you start thinking about it, you come up with this like a genius solution.
Mm.
Or you have an idea for a business, and in that quiet moment, you come up with the business name, or you come up with an offering in that business that you otherwise would not have thought of.
So you're
That
saying, yeah. So you're saying, first of all, get into an environment where there's just silence and it's just you in the silence.
quieting
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
quieting down. Now, I've been trained to quieten down even in noise.
Mm.
But for most people, it's when people come to me. So, for example, on Clubhouse, it's hilarious because I get people who are all over the place. They're going, "Well, I want to ask this, and I'm not sure this," and then they start telling me the whole story, and I go, "Okay, let's take you into a moment of just silence,"
Yeah.
and then I just connect them to their energy centers, and then I say, "Speak." And when they speak next, and I get the whole room to be witnesses to this, and I say, "Right, speak." And all of a sudden, they come out with the question. They come out with the question that they want to ask.
Yeah.
And seeking quietness is the best thing because you're quieting down all those noises. You're literally your ego. So we're divided into two. We have our genius and we have our ego. And our ego can work for us or not, but majority of the time, our ego wants the noise to keep on going and wants you to keep small and everything else. So the ego will always try and distract you and remove you from what you're trying. Your genius knows exactly what it wants. It knows exactly what the words are. But for that genius to come, you have to quieten it down and then bring it in. And that's why some of the most amazing things in your life, you can't explain how they happened.
Mm.
You can't explain because when your genius is in flow, magic happens. When you're connected to your intuition, magic happens because we're all one.
So tell me about this word intuition, because I hear some of the people saying this too. Like, what do you mean by that? Because I know people are there are other intuition coaches, lean on your intuition and so forth. What is that? What are you guys actually saying? What is that doing for us?
So intuition is just another word for your higher self. It's another word for connecting to your heart.
Okay.
It's what you're born with a knowing.
Okay.
You're born with a knowing. It's that whole thing, and especially for women, women have you've heard of women's intuition,
Right. Exactly.
and men or children will go, you can't cross my mom, like she'll know. Like if my mom's turning around,
Right.
she has
Right.
that intuition. She knows.
Yeah.
She know you don't know how she knows, but she knows. She doesn't know how she knows, but she knows. That is your higher self. That's where I can describe it like um in The Secret, they talk about the radio frequency, and they say keep on moving the knob. If you're old enough to remember the radios with the knobs, where you literally you
Yeah.
literally try and look for a signal, and when you get to that signal, that's when you are connected. You're connected with intuition, which means that you listen to either what you are receiving, either by words, by symbols, by smells, and you lean into it. Yeah. You
Yeah.
lean into that knowing. And that's connected to your higher self. If you touch your heart, if you're speaking and then somebody says, touch your heart, your thought process slows down and it
Okay.
comes from a different space.
Okay.
Okay. When people say they're intuitive, it's normally because they can connect to somebody else. They feel like they can connect to somebody else to be able to help them, as opposed to having a separation.
Mm. Yeah.
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 It's like connected to a separation. Now, what happens though with intuition, which is one thing that I'm working on actually getting rid of, is that I want women in particular to use their intuition in all aspects of their life, not just when they're trying to figure out if their man's cheating on them or if the kids are up to mischief. I want them to use that intuition when they go into a meeting.
Okay.
You know, what tends to happen is that when we go into meetings, we turn into jelly. We lose our voice. We
Yeah.
don't say what we need.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be amazing to be able to go into a meeting and know exactly what that person is thinking or what that person wants? And it's not to take advantage of that person. It's being able to serve yourself and that individual. So it's not to use it for manipulation, but it's to say, if I'm going into a meeting with Brian, what does Brian want? What matters to Brian? How can I reach out to Brian and make this meeting beneficial from him and for myself? Your intuition can do that. Also, you can have a team of people working for you rather than going through the Myers-Briggs test and working out what personality are and what they are. And I'm not saying it's not a good process. Yeah. How about tapping in intuitively into your team so that you can connect with them even further and so that your relationship is more seamless? And we're not using intuition, we're not connecting to our higher selves all the time. So as a result, people feel as if they have to push or pull when they're trying to achieve things, which makes things more complex.
Gotcha. The power of a team. So I love all of that. So this is great, but I want to go back into what you were saying, something that I've been really wrestling with as far as teaching as well, where you have all these bad experiences that kind of take control and they kind of derail, your path in a way where maybe you've had experiences that, have, dismissed your belief. Like you don't believe anymore. You know what I'm saying? So you'll have this happen. You try to do this and that didn't work. You tried to do this, didn't work. You confide in this person. That person didn't help you. You thought you would get something from this person. They dismissed you. And now you have all these layers of bad experiences, and not only bad experiences, but bad experiences that have caused you to not believe in yourself, not believe in your journey, your initial journey. When you were a little kid, you had all these great ideas, all these great, I'm going to be this, that, none. You're still not there. So how do you address that where you have all these layers that need to be unpeeled, or whatever the best way you say it. How do you do that?
Well, I have clients like that all the time because we've all got those layers. We've all got those layers, and it's one step at a time. For example, one of my layers was that when I was a child, I remember asking my dad how much he earned, and he said, "We don't talk about money. It's rude to talk about money." Right?
Yeah.
So that's a layer, okay? Or being told that I wouldn't amount to anything by somebody who knew my parents. That's another layer.
Yeah.
And I just want everybody who's listening to this to acknowledge that you were born a king or a queen and you have your crown. All that anybody can do is shift the crown, but they'll never take it away from you. And you still have it. And for anybody that's on this call right now, I want you to just imagine that whilst you're stood there, that there is a golden circle right in front of you. And all you have to do is close your eyes, take a breath, and step into that circle and go and pick your crown and wear it. It's your choice whether you want to wear it or not. All the stories, all those people who have let you down, you're still standing. You're still here.
It's true.
Which means you won. And now you need to start thinking about the people you want to attract. I said to a client yesterday, I want you to write down the clients you want. What sort of client do you want? And it's not about you want Nike or Adidas or whatever. Talk about who do you want as a client, their heart, what's their principles? Are they a family person? Are they a male, female? Do they have children? Do they care about their mom? Do they care about their dad? You know, what sort of, when they see somebody in the street, do they say hello? Write down a list of the people you want to attract for different things and put it on your wall and keep on modifying it. And if you're not sure, then just DM me. Just go onto my Instagram bio and DM me and stuff. But honest to God, the more you actually delve into it, the better. You have control over this. Yeah, it's crappy that we've been let down. The number of people that have said to me, oh, Vic, yes, you know, I think this would work, and they haven't. And I just go, okay. Because what that's made me realize, and I ask myself, is what is it about that person that attracted you in the first place? And sometimes it could be because this person knows somebody more influential, and you go, oh, maybe if I get to know this person, then they can connect me to this. And what I've realized is that I can attract all those well-known people myself. Yeah. So I have a podcast, and I have people who work directly with Tony Robbins coming on. And all I did was say, hey, will you come on my podcast? Now, somebody else, and I know that other people will do that, is go and find somebody who knows that person, right, and create a relationship that may be not authentic. So sometimes you need to trust your own queendom. You need to trust your own kingdom and just reach out.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. Okay. I know we're up against it. I know we can go on for a little
We're
while
up
longer.
Against it already?
I mean, yeah, we are. I have two questions though. Two more questions that I think is that we should dive into. Well, yeah. One it just came up here, whereas people hear you and think, you know, of course Victoria can do that. Of course you can do that. You have a voice. You seem like you're an extrovert. You seem like you can talk all day. I'm not like that. I can't do those things. I wasn't built that way. So of course it's easy for you. So what do you say to people like that, where they don't seem, what you're saying right now doesn't seem as easy as to them as it is to you? Sure.
So yes, I can be an extrovert, but other times I don't want to speak to a single human being. I flip. I do. I flip. But also, your strengths could be my weaknesses. So harness into your strength. Just because you may not be vocal like Victoria, it doesn't mean that you can't put pen to paper. It doesn't mean that you can't get your voice heard in other ways. It doesn't mean that you can't pick up that guitar and sing a song and still get your message across. It doesn't mean that you can't use your hands and draw or create some form of art that still gets your message across. It doesn't have to be the voice. There are several ways to communicate and get your message out there. And some of the most amazing works of intuitive expression come from people who aren't that outgoing, and they create genius material. Yeah. So what you need to do is tap into what you can do, what makes your heart sing, or what connects you to your higher self. And it is a process, but just know that there's something inside you. If you want to write, just put pen to paper and see what comes out. Not everybody has to use the microphone to speak.
True that. I love it. So we have one last question. We're gonna get out of here, because I know we can probably we have some. I knew you can tell already that there's so much that she has to give. I want everybody to go to Clubhouse and look her up and learn more from her. And we're gonna get a hold of this person. But this last question here, next, is of all of my guests, goes something like this. We have people here who are listening to you, they're hearing you, they're loving what you're saying. They might have similar goals, similar interests, similar gifts as you. And they love, what you've done with your presence and what you've done with your clients, what you're obviously want to do with your people that you serve, and they want to do the same thing. Can you tell them, and I'll put you in front and center, how they can become an authority in this space?
Go to Clubhouse. Go to Clubhouse. Seriously, when you go to Clubhouse, and the reason why I'm saying this is because, yes, it's a tool, but if it didn't exist, I would say something else. I would say start speaking, get your message across. Create conversations where people will talk to you and start to make you an authority. Just get your word out. Play music. You can create a room on Clubhouse if you have an iPhone, by the way, or even go onto any social media and just start talking and expressing your gift. Just start speaking. Because right now, people need to hear it. People need to heal. And you may just have what will save somebody else's life.
I love it. Awesome. That's perfect. That's perfect. And we're gonna get out of here. But please tell people, this has been great, Victoria. Please tell people where they should find you after the show.
So if you come over to Instagram, you can find me on Manifestation Kitchen. Go to my bio and you can connect with me there via WhatsApp. You can book an appointment and stuff and speak to me. You can do whatever you want. And if you want to come onto Clubhouse, you need to look for my name, Victoria, and my surname is D for Delta, I for India, O for Oscar, H for Harry. That's all you need to do. Just come and look for me, or send me a message on Instagram and I'll respond to you with my Clubhouse handle.
There it is, folks. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. And I'm just going to do my little plug here as well. You know, my little plug. Go to the authorityletter.com, where I have a 3-part video series to help you build your authority platform. And I do weekly real talk letters on the online industry that you cannot miss, because I don't give it exclusively to that list. So go there and check it out. They're short, funny, and very I don't want to say intuitive, but I would say they're value driven. How about that? So there is that. And I'm so glad to have you on the show, and I am glad to be here. I have an aching back, but I'm still
You did well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Do you have any final words before we get out of here today?
Remember that you're connecting to your higher self and your purpose isn't always about you. It's about the people whose life you will touch. So if you ever decide to think, you know what, I'm not going to do it, then remember that you're cheating other people of your gift.
I love it.
So lean into it. And if I can help you in any way, let me know.
There it is, folks. We're done. That's awesome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, well, I'm honored to have you here. Everybody, go check her out. Don't dismiss this person here. She is amazing. And we are out. Remember, people, build it, share it, and they will come. There it is. We're out.
And that's a wrap for this episode of The Authority Project. Thanks so much for tuning in. And if you like what you heard, we want to hear from you. Subscribe, rate, and give an honest review. Share and tell your friends so they can hear too. And for even more authority-building tactics, be sure to sign up at theauthorityletter.com. Get free weekly content and ongoing digital product giveaways to help you on your entrepreneurial journey. We certainly hope you got a key takeaway, or maybe an aha moment from today's broadcast. Just remember, it's your authority. Build it, share it, and they will come. Until next time.